Ghost in the Night with Phil Sams. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 111 of Ghost in the Night, a hauntings and paranormal podcast. This is our special, I guess, Easter edition. We did not go live on this, and as always, Travis is joining me.
We're doing some really Eastery shit this week.
That's what I was just thinking. We have the perfect topic for an Easter special. Satanic Killers.
Yeah. The only way it could get better is if we were doing zombies.
Yes. Because I think this could exactly be our first class ticket to hell now. We might have just punched our card talking about Satanic Killers on Easter.
I was born in 89, man. I had mine by 93.
So this episode, when it comes to serial killers, we're going to talk three major ones today, and one that people probably haven't heard as much about, but it's fairly recent, 2009. Well, 2009 to early 2012, I think.
Something like that.
A lot of people haven't heard of that one, but there has been some specials and documentaries done on it, so maybe you have. But the concept that I take from this is there are some popular serial killers that have been linked to the occult, to satanic practice, and but people kind of link that, and they automatically assume that these serial killers are Satanists, and they're doing it in his name.
Yeah.
Now, is this just because of the evilness, or do you think there's something to this? Before we get into the other stuff,
I mean, depending on who it is,
right?
Because the term Satanism or devil worship, all that it gets dropped on a lot of stuff,
right?
Simply because I feel like to an extent it's kind of a cop out.
Right.
When somebody can't, when the normal public can't wrap their head around some crazy shit happening, they're like, well, it's clearly outside of our control. It's the devil.
Exactly. It's the devil. Now, I do have to say, since it is Easter, my neighbors are having a party, so we are getting some mariachi music behind it.
Dope mariachi, heavy bass lines.
Oh, it's awesome.
Small child crying.
So we are having party. Apparently, we were having a party in my backyard that I didn't even not know about.
Rock on, Wayne.
Party on.
Party on.
Whatever. People, our crowd won't understand that. They won't get that reference, probably.
I mean, you never know, because we're growing day to day, and you can't stop us. We're going to take over the world. It's the new world order. It's us. It's me and Phil, and we're going to take over your lives.
Let's hope. I'd settle for, hey.
Because we're satanic.
Don't say that. My mother's listening to this. I'll get another lecture.
Yeah, but it's okay, because we can talk about it, because apparently that's how it works. And as soon as you're satanic, you make all the money, and you can do whatever you want.
Here's the thing. Before we get into, we're going to talk the Manson family murders.
Yes.
We're going to talk the Son of Sam.
Yes.
And the Night Stalker.
Yes.
Those are the three big ones we're going to talk about. And through my research, there is something that has pissed me off about all of these, especially the Ramirez case and even Manson. Now, we all know I'm in a bit of a slump right here.
Mm-hmm.
These crazy son bitches, ugly as hell, and they are getting ass thrown at them left and right.
Right?
Like, I couldn't get laid in a whorehouse with a winning Powerball ticket right now.
And these dudes are walking around killing people wearing bell bottoms and Asics and shit, and it's like they're basically like Gabriel Iglesias and Lil Wayne had a baby, and they walk in and just panties pop off and they just catch them and put them in their pocket.
Did you just make fun of Asics? I want you to look fucking down right now.
Well, whatever Saucony, whatever super specific brand Richard Ramirez wore, the dumbass.
Yeah, it was stupid. I mean, he did. We'll get to that. We'll talk about him.
I'm making a point about that because that shit is hilarious.
He was a genius in some criminal mastermind or something.
And he was very fit.
One aspect, but he did make one big blunder that cost him. But it's a Manson got married in jail. Ramirez got married in jail. I
don't know shit about the Son of Sam's love life.
Well, I didn't really. Yeah, I'm sure he got some panties sent to him in the mail.
Yeah, it had to be present.
But I watched the documentary on Netflix, documentary on the Night Stalker and Ramirez, and they talked about it, and they showed pictures of some of the shit he got in prison. And now, granted, they weren't horrible. They weren't awesome looking, but for the 80s with that wild ass hair, they weren't too damn bad.
Yeah, they weren't dime pieces, but they definitely weren't swamp donkeys.
Exactly.
Shout out Pro Ohio podcast.
I mean, I've been at a bar at 2 o'clock in the morning, wouldn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
Some of them. So I was like, God. And he was one of the ugliest son of a bitches I've ever seen in my life.
Which one?
Ramirez.
Both of them.
Well, Berkowitz.
Charles Manson. Oh, Berkowitz.
Berkowitz. I don't know about Berkowitz. No, he's bald.
I mean, if I was like a 26-year-old nursing student in 1978 with like
maybe
overdue bills and a bad credit score, like I'd probably bang David Berkowitz.
Well, you're not as picky as most, but like Manson, for instance, and we're going to get into a little bit more detailed about some of this stuff. But Manson, he was all of 5 foot,
tiny little guy.
I mean, he made Tom Cruise look freaking tall.
Yeah, and like tiny little guy, career criminal, and like I find it. Everybody made a big deal when he got on the news, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna jump across a 10-foot table to judge, and this is what I did." Right. But like, I find it hard to believe that dude just wasn't all the way batshit crazy his whole life.
Yeah, right.
He was in jail the first time at like 11 years old.
Right. I mean, he was a product of the system. Let's talk about Manson right now. Manson is probably the most talked about. Everybody's heard of the Manson family, the Tate, whatever.
Between TV shows and movies and books and shit and songs even.
Right. And there are many people that believe it was a satanic cult. But I just think it was a hippie cult.
Like it's like I said before we recorded, it's definitely culty.
Right.
But
it's not occult.
I don't think they're out there just praising Beelzebub and shit.
Right. I mean, it was more of along. Helter Skelter was not really about evil. It was not. It was a race war.
Yeah.
He wanted to start a race war. He was a racist, not a Satanist.
Which he claimed up until the last time I ever saw him do an interview.
Right.
Like he was always a racist.
Right. So, I mean, I just think they lump Manson in because it was so evil, or how the ritualistic murders, how the murders are done ritualistically, they kind of lump it in as satanic just from their fact of it's evil and it's scary.
And like the satanic thing I get if you don't understand what's going on, but clearly you can tell by when all those kids when he was in court and all the other girls from the family were in court, they're clearly all nuts. They're shaving their head. They're
walking crazy. Oh, yeah, and not one good looking.
Yeah,
oh God, they were horrible. But it was more of a cult, and there are some people that actually think that Manson was the start of the whole satanic panic, which I don't buy. That was more of the 80s. But
into the 90s,
into the early 90s.
Because it was I would say the West Memphis 3 was where the satanic panic was like at its peak.
Which is something I don't know a whole lot about, which we might actually do
well, I'm down to do an episode. That is one of the most, if you look at like the whole scope of that case and that situation, it's one of the most batshit crazy interesting things I've ever like that's true as far as like what we know and what happened court wise. It's fucking nuts and it's so good.
But some people actually think that the Manson murders and the Manson family murders started the satanic panic, and maybe it had something to do with it just for the mere stupidity of the people who automatically assume this evil act is about Satan.
Well, and I have my number one thought on that is like I think a lot of people went to that because Sharon Tate was pregnant,
right?
Because you would not only have Sharon Tate and whatever the names of
the other
whoever else they confirmed killed, but the fact that Sharon Tate was pregnant with a child, and traditionally the death and sacrifice of children has to do with Satanism, but I think that's just. Right. They pulled the trigger at the time where she was impregnated.
Right. Now, I personally believe, and I've even told you about the book, the Manson family murders were more about MK Ultra and the government and the use of how the experiments done with LSD. There's a whole book, Chaos, which I told you about.
Yeah.
That you need to read, where they go in deep with the government's role.
And even without reading what you've read, I think with what happened with Charles Manson, the government, either state or federal, was definitely involved because you don't get in trouble for violating parole multiple times and stay out of jail.
Yeah, I think 3 times. He was arrested 3 times before the murders after he got out of jail on parole.
And even if it's not MK Ultra,
somebody was looking after that.
Not even that. Like if it wasn't MK Ultra by name, they were definitely doing acid.
Yeah. This book, even Chaos, I think it's by Tom O'Neill or Tom's. I don't have it right in front of me. I guess if I have my phone, I can look it up. Great book. I recommend everybody reading it. But it does. Basically, it says that because like you
get an Amber Alert. Sorry.
Oh, Amber Alert. Like, satanic cult just kidnapped a kid.
The best thing that technology has done for us. Go on.
Yes. But where was I? God damn, Amber Alert. I lost my. Oh, like you even said, he was in jail at a very young age. Mm-hmm. So, and
before he was a teenager.
Right. There are reports that they experimented on inmates.
Yeah.
And so it's very possible he was experimenting on with LSD and mind control and all that shit at a very early age, and he was programmed to build this cult as a way, because we all know the cross-dresser Hoover, Edgar Hoover, FBI guy, cross-dresser. My history's a little rough, but
just insert a name; it'll be funny.
Whoever the founder of the FBI,
John Favreau.
Hey, I like John.
I do too. John Favreau is awesome.
He is amazing.
That's just the first name that popped into my head.
But yeah, it was Hoover. Hoover, yeah.
I believe you're true. I think.
Yes, he was the cross-dresser, whatever his name is.
J. Edgar Hoover.
J. Edgar Hoover. Thank you.
I know stuff.
You do. You know stuff.
I'm not just the opinion.
He did not like the hippie movement, and that was kind of the whole goal.
Yeah, that was always a thing.
The whole Manson thing was,
because that's the other thing with the hippie culty thing. Because there's several of them, and like I feel like people forget like that whole thing started way earlier than everybody gives it credit for. Everybody thinks like 67 to like 72. Like no, it was a thing for a while.
Yeah, it was.
It just didn't take off.
Right. But I think it's more government conspiracy, more, and I'll go cult. But there's a big difference between occult and satanic ritual.
Well, I have an opinion of like. I feel like you don't get away with murdering more than a couple people, not in one shot, without having at least like your uncle's a cop. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. Like you have some type of insider thing or somebody somewhere's pulling strings because it's not that easy.
Right. But, so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the Manson, maybe he did have some satanic rituals. But I don't think these murders were based in ritualistic practices.
Yeah, just because people are eating mushrooms and acid and dancing naked around a fire
which I'm all for.
Fleetwood Mac.
You take out the murders, I'm all for.
Shout out Dogface 208.
But
shout out episode.
This is a shout out episode. But
yeah, I agree.
The Manson family was not satanic. It was just
they were just fucking weird.
They were weird, and they were tripping balls, and
they're just like doing drugs and fucking a lot. Like that's all that was.
Just took a little too far.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
So it's not satanic. Now, the next one we're going to talk about, now we're getting into something where there may be something to it. The jury's still out, in my opinion, and that is Son of Sam. Son of Sam is a little weird. David Berkowitz terrorized New York. I even wrote that in my notes.
Did you capitalize it?
Computer capitalized it for me. New York from July of 76 to July of 77. And there's a theme here with serial murderers. It's always a year. Apparently they're good for about a year. They get away with it for about a year.
Unless it's one of those ones that like they're claiming like 12 or 13 bodies. That takes a while.
Because even the Night Stalker Ramirez, he was active for a year. So maybe there's something to it
that we know of for sure. Like, because my whole thing is like, if you're crazy enough to do that, you may or may not, or probably have killed somebody. But we're talking about mass murders here. We're not talking about bullshit one-offs. Nobody cares. You're not cool.
Right.
We want at least 3.
Now,
it didn't happen.
Berkowitz, who was an ugly sumbitch.
Yeah.
Killed 6 people, wounded 10. That's not a good ratio. I will say that.
Yeah, if you're gonna be a serial killer, you got to be batting 1,000,
or at least in the high 90s. Bet 900. God. But Berkowitz claimed he joined a satanic cult in the spring of 75. Now that's what he said. He claims that he only killed 3 victims of the 6 that were killed, and the 10 he only killed 3. But he was involved. It was the cult or the members of the satanic cult that planned and killed, which he was a part of.
Yeah,
but he only killed 3. Originally, Berkowitz claimed that he committed the murders by a German Shepherd, or was told to commit the murders by a German Shepherd who
Rin Tin Tin told him to kill one.
who was possessed by a demon with the most boring name of all, Sam.
You think it was like Lassie? You think it was that benign? It's just like, what? Arf! What? You want me to kill the lady down the street?
Timmy's not well. You want me to kill her? Okay.
What? You want me to gather my friends around and create an elaborate cult and hoax around a group of people committing crimes and only one of them going down? Arf. Okay.
Now later on, Berkowitz changed the tune, which most people do when they're in jail.
Yeah.
After, getting butt ringed for a few years, they start...
Or realizing that like that's your fucking reality now,
right. Yes.
and it sucks.
He claimed that the dog never told him, Sam,
no shit,
the possessive dog, German Shepherd, never told him to do it. The media hyped that. But Sam was not the dog. Sam was in him.
I still think, like... I can believe the cult thing, but I still think like he's just fucking weird, man.
Now,
like,
if I'm not mistaken, he did, because he was big. These serial killers are actually kind of stupid. They like to taunt the police. I believe he did send the police.
Oh yeah, they're cocky bastards.
He did send the police like some stuff, satanic type stuff. Of course. If I become a serial killer, this is my playbook. Yeah, I've always said there's a fine line between rational, normal, God-fearing individual and serial killer. It only takes one bad moment in life to push you off that edge and make you go postal.
Yeah. Like,
but if
I take the wrong number of shits in a day, like I very well might wake up the next morning and just decide fuck it.
Yeah. But I'm going to start planning that shit out. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have an insanity, but I'm going to do the craziest freaking shit you can think of.
And there's plenty of people that have done it, like purposely. They've purposely carried themselves and portrayed themselves in a way that they could make an insanity plea just because they knew they were going to get a lesser sentence.
Now, where this gets interesting, outside of, Berkowitz sending the police, taunting the police with some references to Satanism, and him actually saying he was a member of a cult that he joined in 75 in the spring. Later on, he did, like he said he was a part of the group. They did reopen the case because there were several people in the law enforcement and the district attorney's office.
Sorry.
We can't edit that out. Damn it. That's okay.
This is reality and we're living in it. Murder. Go ahead.
Deal with it.
Facetiousness.
He did, I'm sorry, where was it? There was several members of the police people on the team and the district attorney's office that never bought he was the lone. He had an accomplice. Mm-hmm. And apparently some of the witness testimony did actually support that. There was some inconsistencies in the witness testimonies about who or the appearance of the killer.
Yeah.
Height, tone of skin, hair, everything. So there was some people that believed that actually he did not act alone. And this would play into the cult. The cult members actually doing the ritual. But what really kind of they weren't really ritualistic killings. They were he just shot the son of bitches.
Yeah.
With a 40, because he originally was called the 44 caliber killer.
Yeah.
It wasn't ritualistic. It was just murders. Not like they were gutting them and eating their entrails.
Right.
It was
or like
murder.
Any other than the fact that they got shot in
a car.
Which that doesn't count. Like that's not that I don't. That's not a consistent thing to make something ritualistic. Like
right. Just the act of murder.
What kind of satanic ritual has to do with a car?
Right.
They're telling the future like we shall pray to the gods and kill people in moving chariots with no horses.
Yes, I like that. But if they would take him out and tie him to a tree, strip him naked, carve shit, pentagram in the chest.
Done some
and,
traditionally
maybe the liver
satanic shit.
Shot and the liver's taken out. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'd buy it. But just shoot him
or anything, even like a shitty pentagram drawn on the passenger seat with your finger, like something that relates it
or
to
in the
any
dust
of that.
or the dust in the back of the car. Satan was here. Something that says, hey, this was ritualistic. But no, you just shot people making out in the car. That's a boner killer right there.
Yeah. You're just a dick.
Yes. But they did reopen the case because there was, in 96, they reopened the case. Now, I don't know, obviously nothing came of it, but because they felt that there was other people involved. Yeah. So that does play into the satanic cult possibility. Now, I think this is very possible that he...
And that's my other thing. It's always possible.
I mean,
Either of us could be Satan worshipers. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. No, I'd tell you if I was, but I'm not. I don't have that kind of...
I wouldn't. Fuck you guys.
I don't have that kind of,
Your mom's going to hate this.
She's already hated. She's already checked out.
I promise I'm a nice person.
You're just a bad influence. 31-year-old Travis.
I'm just foul-mouthed. That's it. Like,
the 31-year... Well, that's what... Today, we were talking about it because it was Easter. I went to go visit my mother. I took my youngest daughter.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Yes. And the Mexican music and stuff.
Oh, and shout out... Oh, shit. Happy birthday, Sydney.
Sydney, our newest Patreon. I did get yelled at. My mother is a Patreon.
Yeah.
And she goes, I didn't get a shout out.
Shout out Phil's mom.
Shout out mother. Thank you for your support. My mother contributes.
You're the bestest. But yeah, I remember because we shouted out Sydney on the last week's, and then she was like, "Are you coming up for my birthday?" I was like, "Shit."
Yeah, I did make it.
We could have killed two birds with one stone last week, but happy birthday, Sid.
Sydney's got a shout out like in all 3 episodes, I think. Or didn't we mention? No, it was a Patreon episode. We gave him a little shout out.
Yes.
The Patreon edition of the very Turnbull Canyon. But where were we? We are so freaking off the trails off the tracks right now.
I told you.
Well, this is what happens when you drink before. We might as well just start bringing a bottle in and start drinking.
I actually thought about getting a 6-pack of Bud Light and just sitting here and cracking a couple.
We talked about those little fireball things they sell at the convenience store.
And every time we say ghost or Satan, we have to take one.
A shot. That would be awesome. We will be shit-faced before... Where are we
Make it happen. I'll call it right now. If we get 5 new Patreon subscribers,
we are going to be drunken shit next week.
I will do a drunken podcast.
Yes, we will be banned, and my mother will disown me. That's
okay.
But that's what I was telling the story. I took my youngest daughter to up north to visit my mother and her husband for Easter, and naturally the podcast came up, and she goes, "My son just using that foul language," and she asked my daughter, she goes, "Have you ever heard your father say fuck?" Or she didn't say that. I'm saying it right now. So there's one mother. And I said, before Kylie could even say anything, I said, she heard it 3 times on the way up here. Yes, I say bad words every now and then. I'm 48 years old. Get over it. And this coming, I told you this the other night. What turned her off last week was when we were talking about the Annabelle girl.
You said the girl needs to get some dick.
Needs to get a little dick. That was more than my mother could handle. But yet, I told you this coming from a woman that watched Game of Thrones, and if you've not watched Game of Thrones, basically it's porn with dragons.
And incest.
Yes.
And little people.
I mean, well, he was the best part. But it was so bad, I was embarrassed. I was 45 to 40, I'm 48 now, 3 years ago I watched it. I was embarrassed to watch that show with my mom. I'm 45 years old.
I wouldn't want to. I mean, I'd watch that show with my mom, but I watched Oz and shit back in the day with my mom and Dexter.
Dexter was the best show ever created. I love that show. I could watch it.
It's up there. I disagree. It's not my favorite show of all time, but it's fantastic.
I love it.
I'd say just for me, it's Breaking Bad or Vikings.
Breaking Bad. I've never watched Vikings all the way.
I fucking love Vikings. I fell in love with Vikings instantly. I'll give you my. I think I have every single season on Amazon or something like that. I'll give it to you.
Breaking Bad. I did like it.
It ended the end. We talked about this. The ending was fucking stupid, but it was also so perfect.
Yes.
It was so uneventful, which pissed me off. But watching it, I was like, yeah, this is how that would end.
Now, and to bring Dexter back, don't listen, cover your ears, mother. My dick is extremely hard.
I was literally going to say, like, you can't tell because of my nationality, but I am fully erect right now.
But Breaking Bad was a little, fuck Satanic Killers. Breaking Bad was a little.
This episode's probably going to run over a little bit, and I like it. Go on.
Breaking Bad, it was great the first couple seasons.
I liked every season of it. It did get a little far fetched.
It got a little weird. And,
I mean, I thought about it, like, realistically, it's not the first show that's like that, and it's not the first person's life that's been like that.
It got kind of monotonous a little bit. Toward
yeah.
the end. It's kind of like Walking Dead. I love the first 3 seasons of Walking Dead were fucking good.
I got through wherever the fucking guy with the dreads had a fucking tiger, and as soon as they were like, he's Ezekiel or whatever his name is, he has a tiger.
I didn't make it that far.
And when Rick Grimes literally walks into a gymnasium or some shit, or like a theater, and there's this dude, this like middle-aged black dude with dreads, and he actually has a fucking tiger. He's like, I got it from the Atlanta Zoo. And I'm like, no. Like, zombies are already a thing. You're not going to tell me that somebody's just out here habituating fucking Siberian tigers to be their
right. I didn't make it that far into it.
Yeah.
I like the first 3 seasons were pretty good. But after 3 seasons of walking around killing the slowest murderers of all time, I mean, if you don't survive the zombie apocalypse, you're...
Right, why are you running so much when Michonne showed up and she's just like, I got my brother and my daddy on a fucking chain. Right. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine all the time.
Right. But so, anyway, Breaking Bad was kind of like that.
It did get a little... That's how, see, I feel more that way about... Have you ever watched Weeds?
I started to watch... Actually,
Weeds gets to the point where even I was like...
There's a long story why I don't watch that, and I'm not going to get into that.
Because drugs are bad. Stay in school. Dare to say no to drugs.
Weeds is the one about the mom that sells drugs, right?
Yeah. Which is actually...
The husband dies.
Based on true events. There is a woman that Nancy Botten was supposed to be based off of, but she sells like weed pipes in LA now. So.
There's a reason, and once I say this, you'll probably understand why we didn't end up watching it. You know, the husband dies.
Yeah.
You get my point? We started watching that, and as they said, we didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But I will probably watch it.
I watched the whole show,
hot.
and I still...
There is something about her. She's hot.
Have you seen Red? She's in Red and Red 2.
I love Red 2.
I love this
movie. I love both.
Fuck, I meant to grab the
Actually, I
Grand
think Red 2 I have on DVR.
Yeah, I meant to grab Grand Budapest for you. Like, it's sitting under my TV, and I forgot to fucking grab it on my way out.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll get back to serial killers, I promise. But Dexter, Californication.
Yeah.
I love Californication.
I didn't fully last for the whole length of it. I kind of like fell off a little bit towards the end. I feel like that's every show, and I feel like they kind of make it that way so that you're not so butthurt when it ends.
Right. But the Breaking Bad, Californication, and Dexter are my top 3 probably series that I watched.
Oh, you should watch Penny Dreadful. Have you ever watched Penny Dreadful?
No, I've never watched it.
Watch Penny Dreadful. It's not that long.
I heard of it. But...
It's so good. I think there's a new one now on like Stars or some shit, but you should watch that. That shit, that's one of my favorite shows. It's like, you know, True Blood with like the vampires and all that shit.
I like True Blood. And
True Blood was good for that was another one. It was good for like 5-6 seasons.
Speaking of watching basically my awkward shit with your mother, who's calling me out and saying, I watched True Blood with my mother. For those you don't know, after my stepfather died, back after I went through my divorce, I moved my mom in with me. And
oh shit! Yeah, that's weird. I wouldn't want to sit there with my mom like
watching True Blood.
Like if you don't have that kind of relationship and you're sitting there like, Mom, did you have a good day, dude? She's like, hold on, he's so gay. I'm going to make love to you on this grave.
So it was a little freaking. There was times that my mom was like, "What?" And don't just look forward. Don't make eye contact. Just look at the TV screen. Don't blink.
Yeah.
No, but those True Blood was actually pretty. It was a little hokey though.
But yeah, see, that's what I'm saying is like Penny Dreadful's in that world where like it's got like vampires and werewolves and shit like that, but it's in like turn of the century London, and it's real dark and grimy and like there's like the first 5 minutes you see like a bathroom just covered in viscera and organs and blood. It's great.
You know, I'm just saying, you people are listening to this, you are getting basically a Patreon episode for free right now.
I dig it, man. I'm kind of liking this off the cuff.
This is kind of what a Patreon, for those of you who aren't subscribers to the Patreon account and get the bonus up, this is pretty much what we do. So you're getting a little taste of it now, so give us your $2.
We're just filling the rest of the time that we don't fill your ears with great entertainment and beauty.
But let's get back to Satanic Killers.
Yeah.
The next
still
one,
going on. Okay, so we're switching. Okay, got it.
We're going back. We'll get back. We'll get back to it.
Well, I was saying we were switching to the next name.
Yes, we're going to the next one, which
okay.
really, well, it's like I've always said before. Maybe not. Is the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez?
Yeah, which was the origins of this episode entirely.
Right. We were actually just going to do a whole thing on Richard Ramirez, and we said that would be boring as shit.
This is what you get. You did this.
Yes. But he basically, how many people? I think I got it wrote down. How many? What the hell? Terrorized Los Angeles and San Francisco from June of '84 till August of '85. So
literally year. Just over a year.
Apparently that's the run. If you don't make it past a year.
Is it 13 months? Look it up right now. If all these killers killed all these people within 13 months, it's fucking satanic.
Exactly.
Sorry, I know I just peeked right there, but
that's all right. But yes,
I just scared the shit out of the dog too.
It's satanic if it gets 13 months, or it could be vice versa. It could be this: if you're going to become a serial killer, fucking stop it at 11 months. Stop at 11.
After that, like, no mulligans. There's none of that shit.
Here's what you do. This is my playbook. First murder, Christmas. Last murder, Thanksgiving of the next year, and be done. You'll never get caught.
Yeah, and then you feed your victim to your family for Thanksgiving. It's the perfect crime.
It is.
You fucking hit him with the the one mafia guy that did that shit. That like admitted that like he ground people up in a supermarket, and some people might have ate him.
You watch Sopranos entirely too much, which is another pretty good show.
No, this was like a documentary. They said like the mob owned a bunch of grocery stores, and some dude like there's not
shops.
It's not like in the deli section. Like there's no guarantee. They never said for sure they ground up a human body and fed it to unsuspecting people. But they also said, like, there could have been some in there. You never know. Like, we might not have hosed it down that good.
But Ramirez killed 15 people in that 13-month span.
This is the good one.
Basically, people believe from his behavior and what he said during the trial and what he represented in the trial, that he was a practicing Satanist. He actually, did the pentagram on the hand.
Which is, like, the most in your face and shocking part of it, but I think like that's if you're actually doing this shit, you're not gonna be so just like that's stupid. You're just gonna just sit there and be like, if you only knew, mortal. And
he did Hail Satan as walking out of the court when leaving courtroom.
I say Hail Satan like 3 times a week just because it's funny. I said it twice today. I'm not even kidding.
Okay.
Hold
on, let me scoot over a little bit.
It was all music references and shit.
What else do I got written down here? I personally think this was almost shock value. Mm-hmm. He was playing a part.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a practicing Satanist, but
I think he was trying to get out of the death penalty. He was trying to be like, they're going to think I'm crazy.
Right.
But it's either or vice versa, or he just wanted to fucking die, and he figured the worse he could make it, the more likely they are to kill him. So why not go against God?
I can't remember. There was some satanic things on the walls, didn't he? He did.
They wrote shit on the walls.
Well, right, wrote shit on the wall. Yeah,
what it was.
And so maybe he was a member of a cult. Maybe he was practicing, or maybe he was just even during the murder,
or even trying to cover his own ass,
right?
And like
because
put it off on somebody else.
They never found fingerprints, I don't think. Or
they found a shoe print.
They found a shoe print because the dumbass did a great job.
Here we go.
Did a great job mixing up murder weapons.
Yes, he did.
Random fucking people.
Yeah.
Wore the same freaking pair of shoes.
The same pair of shoes that was made by a company that had just started and had barely shipped anything to the United States, and he was wearing a black pair of these shoes, which was the only pair of those shoes sold in black in the United States.
Or was it
that's my time.
Or was it just one pair in California?
Either fucking way.
There was one pair of black.
You shitting me?
Maybe I take that back. Maybe they did have fingerprints.
You would get away with more barefoot with the prints on your toes being in it because they don't print that shit. So like it was fucking Bigfoot or caveman. That's all it was.
And here's what makes this worse. They were yoga shoes.
Yeah, like they were like brand new.
Right. This was back, the what was her name? Olivia Newton-John. Let's get physical.
Back when people started jogging or yogging.
Yes. So yoga was big.
Soft J.
Yoga, that was the start of the, not yoga, jazz, or what was
Jazzercise.
Jazzercise and shit. So physical fitness was big, and these were basically physical fitness shoes. And he never changed his freaking shoes.
Nope. Because I'm serious. Like, you literally just go fucking barefoot. Like, you'd be better off. They don't have footprints. You know what I mean? Like, but you're gonna wear arguably the most exclusive shoe in that area at that time.
And what?
Like, there was probably more Louis Vuitton sneakers on the streets of LA than there were that fucking shoe at that time.
80s. Get a pair of Pumas. For the love of God.
Or it's like I said, it's fucking California. Just go get some Nike Cortezes like every other fucking dude that lives in LA at that time period. There's Cortezes and Chucks, you idiot. Like, how do you fuck that up? They're cheap too.
Yes. But serial killers are not smart. Just like, well, get back to Berkowitz. We all know how Berkowitz got caught. a freaking parking ticket.
Stupid.
Brought that dumbass down. But, you know, so.
I wonder if that was, if that's pure stupidity or if he, like, somehow that's a physical interpretation of him, what he did getting into his own head. We're just like, I got away with this much. Fuck it. And then he comes on and he's like, you gotta be shitting.
A parking ticket. What the hell?
Oh, fuck. He starts like taking like rolled up 10 and sticking it up his ass so he has some currency for jail.
Yes. But, you know, it's Night Stalker. I think it was, this was the height of the Satanic Panic. This was really when shit went off the rails.
Because of him. Because he was on TV and in every newspaper with the fucking pentagram on his hand.
Right.
Doing that like Michael Jackson smile.
Yeah, and we all know religious people, if you're not with us, you're a Satanist. If you do not believe
or you're just wrong. That's it. Like,
but it's like Ed and Lorraine Warren we talked about last week. Everything's a freaking, if you hear a knock on the wall, it's a demon knocking to come to, saying, let me in.
Oh, God, you missed it. It happened at the bar before I came here. I went up there to get a sandwich and a couple drinks. And this guy, he's a nice guy. I don't even remember his name. I've talked to him before. And this is the second time. And the 2 times I talked to him, he just starts talking about this shit.
What?
Like, this came up. And I was like, yeah, we're doing like Richard Ramirez and how maybe there's Satanism in serial killing. He's like, well, there's Satanism wherever you look. If you really look, people just don't look at it. He's like, look at your money that's in your pocket.
This is the same people think that, the Freemasons were satanic, or
it just makes me want to look at them and be like, dude, if you don't stop talking, I'm going to convert to Satanism just so I can punch you in the face and then use your blood and be like, take them all out, all of them.
Yes, but
fuck them. Take me with you to the mothership so we can go to the fucking power plant base on the dark side of the moon.
Okay,
I just listened to a podcast
on Hell's Gate.
I'm not gonna lie, it's still freshman in my brain because now I kind of believe it. Go on.
Are we going to talk about? We want to talk about Scientology now too? Well, let's get them fuckers up our ass too. What the hell?
I don't even have that much crazy shit to say about Scientology. It's mostly about L. Ron Hubbard, honestly.
Would you really want Tom Cruise coming kicking you in the freaking shins?
I'm not worried about Tom Cruise. I'm worried about like the apparently like almost 100 people that he travels with at all times.
Ah, piss on him. I'm just more worried about.
He's looked at as a deity. And
he's looked. I'm sorry. Here's what you said. He's looked at as a dick. Yeah, I know. Anyway, getting back to Ramirez, and I just think at this time, yes, he played the part. And if you're not, everything is people, fanatical religious people believe even atheists are Satanists. To a certain extent.
Just because they don't believe in the same thing. Because you don't. We're in agreement on that. If you don't believe something, you are wrong. And wrong coincides with, well, if God is my savior and he's great and you don't believe in him, clearly you love fucking Satan.
Right. And I said this in the Satanic, the Is Satan Real episode I replayed because it didn't get turned out. And I did an episode on Satanic Panic. Say that at the disco. They, I, like in Satanic, is Satan real? I mentioned, you can't, in both of my sisters there, you can't have good without evil. You can't have God without Satan.
And I agree. My only thing with that is when people want to talk to me about shit like that is I'm like, dude, like, it's just putting a name to what probably already exists anyway. Like, even if it's just the world working itself out and everybody just can't wrap their head around it, like, it is what it is. Because you personified it into good and bad, it's good and bad.
But you have to have both ends of every spectrum.
Yeah.
That way you know which end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Good looking, other end of the
spectrum.
Better looking. Yeah.
Onlyfans.com / I don't have an OnlyFans.
Okay. We're not promoting it. Let's just hope my mother doesn't donate to it. But Night Stalker, I just think he was, maybe he was a practicing Satanist, maybe, but
I think at worst he was pushing someone else's agenda for them.
I think he was just,
realistically, he was just trying to accomplish either death or not death.
And there was a lot of raping going on, so he was just horny and wanted to kill people. And he was fucked up.
Like clearly, if you rape and murder people, like especially old women,
right?
Like
I did 70. For one, how can you get it up?
I wasn't even gonna go down that
I was going that road.
I was just gonna say, like, if I walked into a house with that woman in it, and
there was two, a sister. There was two of them. One survived.
1,000-pound sisters.
No, they were just 85 years old, freaking old.
But yeah,
no,
like,
they were
how
in
do
the 60s.
You walk in there and like, even if I'm a killer already and I'm going to kill people, I'm gonna walk in and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting you." Like, I'm here to kill you. Would you like a butterscotch? I'd be like, shit. Yeah, you got like leftover biscuits and gravy, and like some like good sweet tea.
Well, if I walked in and was going to kill somebody, and I found out to be 60, I'd be like, "You're close enough there. Tom will take care of this for me. I'm out the door."
Right.
But
or just like looking at me like, "Bah!"
Done. But I don't think it was just about sex. It was about getting off on murder.
His power.
Right. And apparently his childhood, he did see some, I guess his cousin, he idolized his cousin. I guess they're partying outside hard.
I mean, hey, get it. It's Easter.
What is it? Freaking Cinco de Mayo? I'm not aware of it. Jesus Christ. But I guess he did see his cousin kill somebody. So at a young age, that'll mess you up.
I mean, either way, like, if you're fucking crazy, you're fucking crazy.
Right.
And you don't do shit like that if you're not fucking crazy.
And
or your life's not on the line.
We're gonna get into this because the last one we want to talk about is
gonna be unknown by most people.
And we are going to cover this. We're going to highlight it here, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper on this on the Patreon version of this episode. So $2, patreon.com/GITM podcast, $2. All I'm asking. But this started in 2009, I believe, and it is Pazuzu Algarad. Algarad, douchebag, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, why did I just correct that? Fuck that dude. And his mom.
How about, I got an idea.
Because his mom was there the whole fucking time, had the only goddamn room that was like livable by human standards, and didn't do shit about what we're about to talk about.
Don't jump ahead, damn it. Let's just call him John, or what was his name? John or Jason? John Larson, that was his name.
I don't fucking know. Once I heard his name that he went by, I was like,
well, we'll get it. You know what Pazuzu is, right? You know what Pazuzu is, right?
But still, not that name. But I was like, man, I wish I had like a cool ass unique name. That'd be dope. Just be like, my name's fucking Flittledorp.
Right. But anyway, 2009, this Larson character, Pazuzu, started. He went down the rabbit hole. And,
hard.
Oh, he was batshit fucking crazy.
He's definitely more outwardly crazy than anybody else we've talked about today.
Even Ramirez and Berkowitz look and say, "Damn, son, dial it back a little bit."
Yeah. Like they would walk across the street if they saw this cat.
Right. But this guy was tatted up, face tattoos, filed his teeth down.
Yes. To points. Satanic face tattoos as well. Like straight up, like in your face. I don't think like there's no question on this one as far as he at least wanted to portray that he was satanic for sure.
And he was sacrificing rabbits, eating the rabbits, wiping the blood on his
hiding
face.
swords and explosives and guns in his dishwasher and shit.
Now we have to say this: he had a history of mental abuse or mental problems. Was in and out of. His mom actually had him committed at pretty much a young age.
Yeah,
he was. I don't have the list. His medical. He was committed for something or other. Wikipedia that shit. I'm not here to. I can't do everything for you guys, but he
had cystic fibrosis.
Right. He was screwed in the head mentally. And apparently his mom, helped out, not Mother of the Year material. But he started getting into the satanic shit, getting the tattoos, had Satan.
Sorry, the song ended and the train horn hit. That was perfect. I'm so happy. Go on.
That was perfect. But he did have Satan tattooed on it. He was playing the role and odds are he was probably practicing something.
Yes.
Now, was it legitimate or was it just some douchebag pretending?
Yeah. Because he did have he had a little. I wouldn't even call it a cult. It was a group of a bunch of what seemed to be misfit, stupid, fucking young teen skater kid types.
Right.
They were like, oh, this guy will let us drink, smoke weed and shit in his house.
Heroin and that's
He'll literally let us poop on the floors. Because they did that too. They shit on the floors.
Right. It was. If you Vice did a documentary on it, it's called "The Devil You Know," I believe.
Some shit like that.
Yeah.
Because there's 6 different versions that you can see of it,
and
it's just different clips of it.
But anyway, we'll get to that a little bit. But he killed 3 people, and the dipshit buried him in the backyard.
His own backyard.
His own backyard.
He didn't even do that creepy neighbor video. Have you seen that?
No.
It's just cracked out neighbor. You just see a weird hand digging out under this fence and then it's throwing leaves up on the neighbor's yard. And he's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Ah!"
But he killed 3 people, and these people that he killed, it wasn't ritualistic. These were people that were in his house. He knew them.
Yeah,
and he just wanted to kill somebody.
Because wasn't there something about one or possibly all of them were supposedly cool with it?
I don't know. I could have been taking a piss.
I mean, that might be some Wikipedia stuff.
Well, I watched it. I didn't really. And there was a book. It's called, I think, Evil Archaeology, that I Audible listened to, or I didn't finish it, but that was the first time I ever heard of it.
I mean, Evil and Archaeology are both part of my top 5 searches on everything anyway. Yeah.
But it's actually a pretty good book.
Tremendous.
I haven't finished yet, but she brings this case up. She talks about this case because Pazuzu is the king demon of wind, whatever the fuck that means. But and also here's the interesting part.
He's a BAMF. He's a badass motherfucker. Actually, apparently,
Pazuzu's famous.
From what?
That's the demon's name in The Exorcist. That's possessed. Causes Linda.
Oh, really?
I think it's Pazuzu.
I haven't seen that in probably almost 20 years because personal opinion, now that it's not brand new and we have computers, that movie is not fucking scary, dude. The idea of it is.
I haven't seen it. Of course, I had a problem when I found out the real story. It was a boy. It wasn't a girl.
Yeah. My biggest thing with The Exorcist, I just wish I was alive when The Exorcist came out. So I would be in the back of the theater watching these people faint and being like, "You fucking stupid."
Right. Yeah. But that was Pazuzu, apparently.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't. Yeah.
I learned that in the Vice episode, or I think. But I did read that Pazuzu was the demon king of wind, or whatever that.
I thought that was Anthony Hopkins.
What the fuck does Anthony Hopkins got to do with anything?
Literally nothing. I just wanted to see your reaction.
Okay,
so that's cool. Yeah, I don't remember hearing that on the Vice documentary, but at least I guess to an extent, at least gives some legitimacy to him not being maybe crazy, but not fucking dumb because it had a name. He had a name behind him. He was sponsored.
He changed his name from Johnny, I think it's John, to Pazuzu.
Like a little league baseball team with the 2-button shirts, but his Pazuzu Algrad's shit shack.
But this, it wasn't ritualistic killings. It was just he wanted to murder people. He was a dick.
And honestly, I think I would almost argue that you could, or you really could just argue that they were all just, they could have been already been dead. Like they could have OD'd or some kind of shit, which I know they didn't talk about, but they also didn't talk about.
Well, I think the one guy that he killed was alive because it was a black gentleman, legally blind. He went with him somewhere, and they shot him by the river because he went to
a van down by the river.
This might be our last fucking episode.
I'm having fun.
No, apparently he went to light a cigarette and boom, they shot him.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, at least let him take a hit. Damn it. But the other ones, I don't know. They were in the house. The other two were in the house.
So I feel like those are more questionable as to what actually happened.
Right.
Because apparently there was just people in and out. There was all kinds of drug use and...
Right. And the one, I know...
Satan knows what else because he doesn't believe in God.
The one was actually living there, or he would stay there every now and then, which in that Vice episode, he had a kid and his partner. Did you see the Vice episode?
I saw there's like 4 different ones.
Okay. But apparently,
like each one has like a slightly different clip of some interview with somebody. It's so stupid.
You know, not to be too insensitive here, but I'm sorry. If you're hanging out with a dude with filed down teeth, hasn't showered in years,
face tattoos,
dreads, Satan written on there, smearing animal blood on your face,
and like literally, I can't get over the fact there's literally shit in the house on the floor because people would just be like, oh,
right. Like, I'm sorry, you kind of freaking deserve it.
Yeah,
you're kind of a.
I don't even want to say you deserve it. Just,
you're asking
you
for it.
You should know better.
You're asking for it.
Like, come on now.
You walk in. I'd walk in and say, "Okay,
I've walked into hotels and just like pulled up in front of the fucking door of my room and been like, nah.
Right.
Nah.
Yeah.
Only once. It was in Cleveland.
Well, it's just Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's probably the Ritz. It's Cleveland. We just lost all the Cleveland listeners, which I think was actually, we did do pretty good in Cleveland.
Shout out all your shitty sports teams.
I'm just joking.
I'm not. And you know that's a fact. I'm
really?
Sorry. Cleveland sports fucking sucks. Actually, I wanted the Browns to make a run this year. Go on, sorry.
You're going to say Cleveland sports sucks?
Yeah.
Reds, Bengals.
I'm not a Reds or Bengals fan either.
Well, that's right. You're a Dallas fan. That's right. I forget because you're from Dallas.
We actually have success sometimes.
Sometimes.
For short periods of time.
America's team. Self-appointed America's team. I like that. How can you be America's team when you are self-appointed?
No, it actually got voted again not too long ago.
Yeah.
They took it back from the Packers.
I'm America's podcaster. I'm voting myself that. All in favor? Aye.
Phil 2020.
I'm running for president.
2024. Fuck, it's 2021 now.
Yeah, I ran for president last year. Fuck. I was a year early.
You should do it. I'll vote for you.
No.
I'll do it.
No.
Fuck, I won't be old enough next time. So what's that? 2024, 2028.
There you go.
Travis 2028.
You got my vote. But Pazuzu, yes, he probably was a practicing Satanist, or what he considered to be a practicing Satan. He had his own religion. I forget what they called it. I mean, and the only 2 members was him and that one girl that went.
Yeah, like I
the
feel
only
like
2 members of the church.
Everybody that's openly on that shit kind of just has their own thing going on.
Right.
They're like, this is where we started, but this is like.
So I don't.
Because again, that one group had a very high-ranking member that was basically an understudy of Aleister Crowley. We'll talk about it later.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Scientology.
Oh,
right?
do
That's
not
why
bring,
I didn't say it. You told me to say it.
Don't bring Scientology into
I'm
this.
not even saying anything bad. Apparently, this is just, from what I understand, this is known fact. Is like...
Tom Cruise is coming down the ceiling now.
I have no problem. I love Tom Cruise. Fucking Mission Impossible's dope. But apparently there was a guy that had something to do with Scientology that was like some type of understudy or like right-hand man of Aleister Crowley for a while. Like, shit just falls in place sometimes. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily... Like, Pazuzu Algrad was crazy. He might have believed in Satan, but he was also super crazy before any of that shit even came along. That dude was like that since he was a kid.
He was... Well, the thing about Aleister Crowley, he came from a deeply religious upbringing.
He's one of the most interesting human beings to ever live.
Overbearing. He's a perfect example. You know how you've all met those girls that were parents were extremely strict, extremely religious, made them go to church 1,500
and they do
times.
butt stuff like
And
instantly.
As soon as they turn 18,
anal's like second base.
Catholics are the worst. I went to a Catholic college for a year. I could only handle that shit for a year.
I bet.
Because those girls were butt shit crazy. And pun intended. But that's what happened to Aleister Crowley. You know, his parents were so religious and rammed that shit down his throat. Eventually, he had to take them.
Yeah, the only thing that threw me off with him is like wherever he got the funding to have the impressive life that he was a mountain climber and shit.
Didn't he leave some people to die up on Mount Everest or something stupid like that?
I mean, he's Mr. Crack. Like, yeah, of course. Listen, why wouldn't he?
I'm going to bring this home right now.
He's a fucking planet. Drop the bomb on him.
I'm going to drop the bomb. Ozzy Osbourne sums up the Satanic Killers. Ozzy Osbourne, he is not a Satanist. He played the role. All of these guys are playing the role.
Yeah.
They're not Satanists. They might dabble a little bit.
They might be, but I don't think that's why they did what they did.
Exactly. They did what they did because they were messed up in the head and they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
It was power. It was delusion.
If you're fucked up in the head, you're fucked up in the head. Like, it doesn't matter what religion or what you believe in. Like, which is fine. I'm all for, we all have mental health issues. Like, everybody does. There's some of them are more extreme, but like, you can get that perfect storm. And I feel like these are those perfect storms where like, it's like everything just adds up and it comes to a head and you just have that perfect kind of crazy.
Right. But I think of all these, and I think this opens, we're going to end the podcast here in a minute and go to the Patreon edition, but I want to leave you guys with this. Here's a question. Now, we were talking about Pazuzu or Mr. Larson was crazy.
Yeah. His friends even said he was fucking crazy.
Right. And we'll get into that on the Patreon episode because that's really a fascinating story. That one guy is a fascinating story.
Yeah, he is.
I'd
have a beer with that dude.
I don't know. That motherfucker scares me a little bit.
One beer.
I don't.
Who, Pazuzu?
No.
His friend.
Yeah, his friend.
Okay, no, there's no way. No, I'm not trying to get electric Kool-Aided with fucking Natty Light.
Right. But, see, damn it, Travis, I had a brilliant point, and you...
The friend.
No, we were talking about, what the hell? I didn't even drink before this.
You don't think they're actually satanic?
I think they're...
ending this, going into the Patreon.
Right.
Closing
statements. That's right. Pazuzu, now, I don't think it was done... He was a Satanist. He didn't do it in Satan's name, per se. But who's to say him practicing these rituals, doing these rituals, maybe he didn't invite some demonic, some evil into him that maybe pushed him over there, maybe caused him to do it. It's very freaking possible. Same thing with maybe Ramirez.
Yeah.
When you open that door, if he was a practicing Satanist, it wasn't done in Satan's name, or maybe this mental illness.
It's the devil behind closed doors.
Right. Who's to say these demons, this evil spirit, this Satan, if you will, doesn't have caused that mental illness? Mm-hmm. It's very possible. I don't know. I don't know what the cause of mental illness is. I'm not a doctor, and I didn't stay in a freaking Holiday Inn Express last night either.
It's because you don't have enough stardust in you.
Right. What the fuck are you talking about?
We're all made of stardust.
No more edibles for
I figured you would pick up on that one. Like, apparently stars are made of the same elements as us at the basis form.
I know. I picked it up, but I just want to be contradictory. Because that's... Go do another edible there, Joey Diaz. Jesus. Screw it. Next time, I'm just going to do this on DMT. Piss on it.
I'll Sherpa you through those mountains for sure.
But I don't know. Who knows what? I think it's very possible that Pazuzu might have opened doing some of that sacrifice or some of that ritualistic sacrifice of blood.
Yeah, it's
maybe
like
drew the attention of something evil, and maybe entered him and pushed him over there to shoot those guys.
When people talk about vortexes. You know what I mean? Like there's something going on, and then because of the behavior around it, it just kind of gets multiplied.
Because, well, there's some, the whole full moon thing, there might be something to it, but it might be more magnetic than, magnetic anomaly, if I could speak right now.
Magnetized werewolves.
You're being so hard to get along with.
I'm just bringing up all the options here.
All the bullshit. No, but maybe, who knows what. They're all definitely, every one of these, anybody who's a serial killer is a little off. Yeah. You have to be.
And if there's something going on, an activity like that at the level that they're committing it is probably going to multiply the negativity and whatever might be behind what's already happening.
Right. Because if you know anything about Satanists, the rituals aren't about.
No, like they're pretty chill.
It's not about I'm sure there are some branches that do sacrifice, and that was a thing back in the day.
Right.
But most of it's about empowerment and giving the finger to the man kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's more anarchist.
It's kind of the same thing as like the snake churches in like Appalachia and shit. I feel like that's just kind of because it says something in the Bible about like if you die from the bite of the snake, you are not touched by the hand of God.
Whatever.
So now they're like, oh, look, rattlesnakes. It's like it's just like swinging your dick because you think it makes you cool or more powerful.
There's a joke there, but I'm in enough trouble for this episode. I'm keeping my mouth shut. No, I'm sorry. And listen, I was born in West Virginia.
Did you go to a snake handling church? Okay.
No, I don't think so. I hope not. I'm pretty sure I'd remember that shit.
I got bit by a snake and I got no memory after that. I don't know where it was.
But I was like, if you're dumb enough to believe that bullshit, you deserve to get bit.
Yeah, like I try to avoid saying shit like that because I've never been religious. But like, yeah, come on. Like this is science. I don't care. You can be religious, but science and the human body and venom is a thing. Fuck you.
Here's the thing: if I'm a little smarter than that. If I was gonna, in most of those, what was that Steve Martin movie where he was one of them traveling
planes, trains, and automobiles?
No, he was a minister, but he ran the con. He was a con man, and one of them healers. And it did it tense.
I don't know.
You never seen that movie?
I'm going to because it sounds tremendous.
It had meatloaf in it.
I'm definitely going to watch it now.
But I'm sorry, I'm going to be more like him, and I'm going to milk the freaking snakes.
Yeah.
They might bite.
Yeah, and really,
we were talking about wrestling. That cobra that bit Randy, that bitch was fixed.
She's old, brother.
I mean, I'm doing that shit. I'm gonna make sure I'm not gonna catch one under a freaking rock and bring it into the church.
Right. And realistically, it's a stupid correlation, but Satanism is just venom for the people. Because even people that aren't hardcore religious, they hear satanic and they're automatically like, oh, it's a bad person.
Did you just go deep?
Yeah. God. For once in my life.
You just took it deep.
Said no woman ever.
No. See, I need that little soundboard now, so I could have went.
Well, if we get a handful of Patreon subscribers, we might add a soundboard.
Yes, but I think it's very possible. I think there is something to maybe. I've always said evil is attracted by, I think it was last episode. If you're weak or you have issues, it could attract evil.
Yeah.
And these mentally
unstable
people who do commit these crimes or become serial killers, I'm sure that, if there is such a thing as an evil entity, it is attracted to them. And it might push them over the edge, or it might say, oh, hey, this guy just killed a guy. Let's see. It's very possible. I don't know.
And in that way, you can even make a scientific argument because, they always say in science, magnetism pretty much controls everything that we know in one way or shape or form.
You want to get down the rabbit hole of no gravity? It's really magnetism. Then flat Earth.
Why would it not be? We have iron in our bodies. It could pull us down to the core of the Earth. Yeah.
And then flat Earth, and then I do want to do a simulation theory episode. eventually.
I mean,
maybe.
As long as we don't like fry the hard drive that's running the simulation of us talking about the simulation, because then we're really fucked. I hear that makes them mad. Yeah. We can go into that in the Patreon.
Okay, we'll go. We are going to end this clusterfuck of an episode right now. I apologize, but if you can get past all that, be sure to like, subscribe, however you take in the podcast, via Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and a host of others. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That we want to get those numbers. I'd like to at least get 1,000 subscribers at some point before I, kick the bucket.
Yeah, just
I got 1,000 because really, that's a lot of freaking work putting up those videos.
Yeah,
I mean, I got, of course, my computer's so slow. It takes time to download and then upload.
Yeah.
If you're not watching, then piss on you. I'm not going to do it. I'll just do the YouTube or the podcast feed. And then the Patreon and say, screw y'all. No, I'm just joking, but be sure to subscribe, like, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget, we do have a Spreadshirt if you want paranormal merchandise with fancy little Ghost in the Night memorabilia, or not memorabilia, but logos and shit and other things. Have you looked at that yet?
Yeah, we were looking at it the other night.
Okay. But that's at I'm sorry, fuck, I can't read. I don't have my glasses. shop.spreadshirt.com/GITN-paranormal-merch. YouTube is basically just search Ghost in the Night. Facebook at Ghost in the Night. Twitter, at night_ghost. LinkedIn, all that happy shit. I don't got time for this. We're going to the Patreon. Piss off everybody. I'm pissed off. He's drunk and I'm sober. I'm going to get a drink after Patreon. Piss on this. So we'll see you next week. What are we going to talk about next week? What do you think?
Oh man, I don't know. Did you want to go more conspiracy theory-ish next time, or
you want to go
something more serious?
You want to go Bluebeam?
I'll do Bluebeam.
We're going to do Project Bluebeam next week. We're going to just...
I'm going to get another one of these lights while we do it.
I got more lights over there.
Just do the whole room all blue. Just hello.
Hey, I can turn that blue too.
Oh, we'll get some PVC pipe, make some Blue Man Group drums.
I'm not putting Blue Man paint on me.
You don't have to do. Well, I'll do it.
Nobody wants to see me in a onesie.
I mean, it's just latex.
Or whatever they do. I do have the bald head, but I don't know. We're going to probably go that. Who knows what the hell we're going to do.
That'd be a fun one.
Of course, we might get kicked off every platform. My mother might ground me. I don't know. All right. We're out of here. Take care. Did you come up with a outro for yourself yet?
I haven't. None that are like not just off the cuff stupidity and vulgarity. So
all right.
I gotta have something your mom doesn't hate about me.
You are a bad influence on me. You're a bad influence. A 31-year-old is a bad influence on a 48-year-old.
I've been told that so many times in my life too.
But I'm thinking about saying something right now.
What?
But that might get me in trouble. I'm in enough trouble.
Save it for the Patreon.
I'm in enough trouble. Exactly. I'm saving that. We are out of here. Thank you so much for listening, putting up with our dumbasses. We will see you next week. Take care, everybody.